This student scored 12 in listening, 11 in reading, 12 in writing, and 11 in speaking, and they were part of our YouTube community. Hello, I watched your videos on YouTube and followed your advice. These were my scores. Thank you and more power to your team. Thank you so much for the compliment. And again, guys, if you watch these lessons, you can time and time again assure, just like the student, that you have tremendous scores. Now, in this part of the video, in this speaking video, we'll discover what we should do in parts 3, Part 4, Part 5, and Part 8. These are all your picture questions. This is where CELPIP is very different from other exams because here you got to look at the pictures and describe them. I have selected some difficult questions for you. For example, this one where there's really nothing much happening. So we will discuss what to do and the strategy you should adopt to score just like this student and like many others who have used the HZad templates, HZad strategy, and scored brilliantly. Now, the first thing is, this is question number 3, where you have to describe what is happening in the picture. The thing you should do right away, immediately, is pick 3 to 4 things that you cannot miss. For example, in this picture, this lady looks pretty mad for some reason, so I'm gonna talk about her. These two guys, I don't wanna say them separately because I have more to cover, so it's not like these 4 people are going to be my 4 points. I'm going to use some other people in the background because I have to cover a lot of this picture. The more, the better. So I'm going to group these two. I'm going to say this is the guy who is talking and this is probably his secretary because he's taking notes. The third thing would be this person who is explaining right now. He's the one talking and everybody's listening to him. Fine. These, of course, will be the main people in the picture because they are in the front. Everybody else will be my point number 4. Now, I could just do it like that. I could say everybody else in the back is talking. However, I don't want to be reckless with that. Let me talk about these people. This table is going to be my point number 4. And why? Because these people are very focused at this person who is talking. They're listening in a very focused way with concentration. So I can talk about them. Now, for my 5th and 6th point, it depends. If I have time, I'm going to talk about everybody else in the room looks like they are in conversations as well about a meeting. This is probably a business conference, and that's how I can just put it at the end. This strategy, what this does is it enables you to always score the best mark in task response because a lot of you don't say the main things, and when you try saying them at the end, you don't have enough time to finish. So if you have the strategy, you can ensure that at least 3 to 4 main things are said. And in the remaining time, you can say everybody else, it looks like they're in a meeting room. It's probably a business conference where they are supposed to come up with ideas in round tables. That's it. So you can say everybody else at once in conclusion. You can look at the time and monitor it and finish it effectively. So this really helps us. The other thing you want to pay attention to, which is often missed, is the expressions of people. She looks upset or she is about to burst up with anger because she's very quiet right now, while these people are listening with concentration. They're focused. The ones in the back, they are attentively listening. So make sure to add those expressions. That helps you with your range of vocab, adjectives, adverbs, all those things. It also helps you explain the picture, so task, response, and description. And it helps you, again, dive deep and have multiple points. Now, if you want mock tests like these, as well as HZad Education's free training, we are selecting only a few comments from below, and all you got to do is comment below, like the video. We will select you and give you our free training, free material, and assessment. Comment down below and like the video for that. Now we're going to go to part 4. This is where you predict what's going to happen next. Now you can do 2 things. You can have completely new predictions. Maybe you can say this lady is going to be pretty happy with the proposal. It's opposite to what you said earlier. Or you can follow up on what you said before. You said that this lady is going to burst up in flames. She is very frustrated right now, controlling her anger. So now you can say that she's actually going to stand up and make a scene and so on. It's optional. You can do either approach. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is how you explain it. Now, in this case, in this picture, there's really not much happening. You can have 3 points max, in my opinion. The table here, something happening here, something happening at this table, and something happening at one of these two tables or here collectively, because there's really not much going on. So what I can say is I can make up a story where this lady has an outburst, she doesn't like the proposal, maybe she starts screaming, and when that happens, these guys are the closest ones, so they'll probably come and try to calm them down. The ones at the back towards the top right side will just look in awe and be surprised at what's transpiring in front of them. And that's how I want to build this story. That's my decision. You can build it however you would like. Make sure to include as many people as you can. And remember, you want to explain what happens in the next 15 minutes or so. People sometimes do in the next 10 hours or the next day what might happen. So if you say a point like these people will be replaced by new people, that's a very basic point, and that's going to happen in hours, not in minutes. You got to predict for about what happens in minutes. So remember that for part 4. Remember to also have a lot of expressions, adjectives, feelings, etc. When you go to part 5, you're first given a situation. In this case, your friend is looking for a new hobby. So they basically have swimming and basketball to choose from. You have to pick one option for your friend that you prefer. Now, I usually look at the ones which have less words or they're easy to explain. And I think swimming comparatively is easier to explain here with the words I see in the features. And again, it's not a huge difference, but I'll pick the one that's simpler or the one that I would actually prefer in real life. Now, in the next 60 seconds, once this preparation time is done, in the next 60 seconds, you get the friend's selected option. So they want to work out. You want them to go for swimming. Here's what you got to make sure. Compare. Don't just talk about your favorite points, all these ones, but also compare with the friend what they want and tell them what they want is not good. So you got to bash them and make sure they understand why your stuff is better than theirs. What I try to do immediately in the preparation time, and this is what you should always do, is see the points that are similar. Because in some cases, for example, swimming costs $60 a month, but workout costs $100 a month. So you could easily compare them and say, workout will be $40 more monthly. And that'll save you so much time and so many words. Instead of saying this is 60 and that is 100, you just do the difference. This is $40 cheaper, or this improves your cardio by this much. And that really helps out. However, here, if you see the features, you're really unlucky because there's really nothing that is similar or that can be compared. These are all very independent points. No problem. When this happens, find things that you can group in your choice at once. For example, swimming doesn't make you sweat, great survival skills, okay, to the independent points, not feasible for winners, and improves your lungs. So lungs and sweat, we can talk about this together. It's a great exercise. If you go for swimming, it's highly important for your lungs, plus you don't even sweat while doing it. So that can be said in one sentence. Sometimes you can pick 3 things and you can say them in one sentence. Now again, you also want to look for, this is the second strategy here, you also want to look for sentences that you are going to target to say together in terms of comparison. For example, you can say, look, swimming is a great survival skill. It's very important under these conditions we live in. However, with gyms, you just might injure yourself. So you see, you can combine multiple things in one sentence. And this is important because if you try to realistically do all of this in 1 minute, it's very hard. But if you can do it, you get a lot of marks and examiners will love you for that. Remember, the question is about comparison and persuasion, not just talking about your side. Finally, your last question is about the picture. This is very similar to parts 3 and 4. So here you got to describe the picture just like you do in part 3. However, here there's a scenario provided. For example, your art class professor has picked you to define what is in this picture. All you got to do here then is in the intro and in the conclusion, pay attention to that. And just one more sentence, one more word in the middle. For example, at the start, you could say, thank you, Mr. Professor, and you can take the name, thank you, Mr. Anderson, if you want to do that. Or just say, thank you, Professor, for picking me for this explanation. In this picture, I mainly see, now describe it, just like you do in part 3. In the middle, you can just address the professor again to show that, yes, it is realistic, you're in this conversation. You can say, again, Professor, I feel like towards the lips area, it's very dark and looks a little creepy. So that's just addressing the professor or addressing the situation. At the end then, in the conclusion, you can wrap it up by saying, overall, I feel pretty depressed by looking at this picture. I'm not sure what my other classmates think. Let me know if you have any questions, Professor. So here again, you're showing the examiner you understand you're in the situation and you have nicely wrapped it up in a realistic situation. If this was something else, like you are asking your wife for advice to buy this painting, then in the middle, at the start, at the end, you do that. You address your wife and you take her name or his name, your spouse, and make sure to just pay attention to the situation. And that's the only difference between part 8 and part 3. So guys, that's it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Really helps our channel, and we will continue loading up more new content for CELPIP preparation.